Hello everyone, welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision in HO scale. My name is Darrell Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 5 of season 1. The Evanston Subdivision is an HO scale layout that's going to be built here very, very soon, and before I completed all the planning for the layout, I wanted to take a trip out to Utah and Wyoming and do some research on the Evanston sub, which I did with 3 friends. So 4 of us went out there and had a great time taking pictures and researching. All 4 of us were vaccinated and 2 of us got COVID. More on that later. Our first stop here is in Green River, and there's a nice yard in Green River, which is the end of the Evanston sub, the easternmost end. And as you can see, there's a lot of cool details here on the yard here in Green River. And some cool storage tanks. We figured out all the piping. Here's an engine facilities. Good city scape here. This will make a great backdrop. So on the layout, Green River will be in the staging yards, and Evanston will be the yard that's modeled. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lot of the details from Green River and incorporate it into Evanston. As we see the train take off here. Here's the overall layout of the Evanston sub that I'm planning. And as you can see, Green River is in the staging yard, and Evanston, Wyoming is actually going to be a model. But I'm going to make the Evanston yard a combination of Green River and Evanston details. Now, between Green River and Evanston, there's really not a whole lot there. You can see a trona mine, which is going to be incorporated into the layout. I was able to take a lot of good pictures that I'm going to be using for the backdrop. This is again between Green River and Evanston, Wyoming. Pretty open area, a lot of nothing, but there is some trona mines. I was not able to get too close to one to take pictures, but we were able to see some pretty cool scenery, not a lot of trees. And then here we have Evanston, Wyoming. This is probably the only building I will incorporate in the Evanston yard. This is the power plant that's still intact, although in pretty bad shape. There is a roundhouse there, a complete 180-degree roundhouse that's been restored, but I'm not going to incorporate that. It's not really being used as a roundhouse, so I'm not going to include it. There is a tank facility, UTLX, I believe it is. So we were able to get some pictures, some nice pictures of this facility, which will be in the Evanston yard area. So I've got some pretty good pictures of the things going on around here. We got a little too close here and ran off. Here you can see in the lower right-hand portion of this picture, you can see where the tank facility is going to be just outside of Evanston, Wyoming. All right, from Evanston, we went down a ways towards Ogden, and we came to Wasatch. This is a pretty famous grade here coming up to the Wasatch Summit. And there's 2 main lines here. The one that you see the train coming through on is the modern main line built in 1916, if that's modern. And then the upper main line is the original main line, and that was built back in the 1800s. And the modern main line has a consistent grade of about 1%. The older one has a, watch this engineer's brother's stomach. Not sure why he did that. But the The older main line has grades up to 1.7%. So it's pretty interesting. You get some separation of grade between the two main line as it goes through this area. Here you have the modern main line coming up to, let me train up here, coming up to the same grade at Wasatch where you have a siding. So they have to be at the same grade there. So kind of see it coming to the same grade level as the original main line. Here we have the end of train. This train was over 200 cars. The precision railroading has really made for some huge yards, huge trains. So just down the line there, you have them at the same grade, and then you have the siding. Down a little bit further west from Wasatch, you have the Castle Rock, which we got to in the evening. The sun had set over the hills there, made for some interesting picture taking. But we did see a train coming on the upper main line. Now we got a little confused here because there are two main lines. This is the one that has a higher elevation. The other one is down below. I can't really see it here. That trailer house is between the two mains. There it is. So it's higher than the foreground main line. So we were thinking that was on the older main line that had the higher grade, but in fact it didn't. That is actually the modern main line that it's on. Interesting tunnel there. Not a whole lot of earth on top of the tunnel. Not really sure why they even have a tunnel. Why they did just do a cut there, I'm not real sure. So anyway, this is the modern main line, and it's in the background and at a higher elevation than the older main line, which is in the foreground. Now between here and Wasatch, which is only like 7-8 miles away, maybe 10 miles away, the two main lines cross over each other. And then the one main line gets higher than the other. I'm going to represent that. You can see Castle Rock there, and you have the two main lines separate from each other, and then they cross over and then come back together at Wasatch. So it's very interesting. Beautiful scenery here, by the way, Castle Rock. This will be one of the main scenery areas of the layout. This will be on the peninsula portion of the layout, and the peninsula will not have a second level above it, so I'll be able to have a lot of room here to do some pretty cool scenery as the two main lines go through Castle Rock on its way to Wasatch. Was not able to get to where the two main lines cross over. Would have been a lot of dirt road driving and driving along the maintenance roads, which really didn't want to do. Already got chased off of the tank facility, so we were a little hesitant to do any more trespassing. Of course, as this train went through here, we got back in our cars and went up the main line to catch the train again at Wasatch. And so here's the same train again, and now it's in the foreground because it has crossed over. And it was above grade, a higher grade than the older main line. Now it's at a lower grade, but it's kind of making up for that. And they roll them together. It comes to the same grade at Wasatch. We were really surprised. We kind of were confused why it appeared on this main line. It took us a while to figure out what was going on. I must say that when I came home from this trip, I ordered quite a bit of equipment, mostly from LombardHobbies.com, which have the best prices. Picked up quite a few SD70Ms and some Gevos, plus a lot of other stuff. Here again, you see kind of how it lays out. Castle Rock, and then it crosses over at the peninsula, goes through some tunnels as it makes a turnaround, and then comes back together at Wasatch. It's going to be a little bit wider here than what's shown. I'm going to kind of expand it out a little bit. All right, down the way again, heading westward, we get to this rest area where you can really get some good pictures of the canyon here. Fortunately, did not see a train going through here, but you still have the red rocks and a lot of the same rock features. This is at the Interstate 84 rest area. Actually hiked up a trail, and that's going to be right here in this little enclave here. On the right hand side will be those hills, and then we're going on Interstate 84 going further west. And what's kind of interesting is that these red rocks here transition into lighter colored rocks. I'm not sure what the geological reason is for that, but this is the Weber Canyon now, I believe. And now you have the lighter color rock. This is Devil's Slide. This is across from Devil's Slide. So I'm going to kind of incorporate this aspect here on the layout. And then you also have an industry called Wholesome Cement. This is some of the traffic going into that facility. Here's the main line going across the Weber River. And then you have another bridge that takes the traffic to Wholesome Cement. So it's going to be interesting having the river and the road that goes to Wholesome Cement, as well as the bridge that takes the rail traffic to Wholesome Cement. Going to work that all in together. And here you actually have the Wholesome Cement facilities. This has been here for many, many years. They've been constantly getting aggregate materials to make cement. So we've been trying to incorporate a lot of these structures into this facility on the layout. Here's the whole complex. And then here's an aerial view of it. You can see the two bridges and then the facilities and the road and the river and how everything kind of fits together. So I'm going to see if I can incorporate there into this portion of the layout. I don't have everything in there as far as the bridges and river, but I will do that. Devil's Slide is up in the upper right hand corner. All right, then further down, we came to the Taggart Tunnel area and took some nice pictures around that area. The interstate goes right by there. We were very disappointed that there weren't any trains coming through while we were there, but we were able to get some good pictures. This will definitely be on the layout also. Let's see if we can do a good job of representing this on the layout. These are some pictures of the other side of the tunnel. After we took a look at Taggart tunnel area, we visited an N-scale layout, and then we're able to catch a train. This is again further west, and then we talked to a maintenance guy who gave us the heads up that a train was about to come through, so we're able to catch this train going through. This is about maybe 15 miles down the road from the Taggart tunnels. This was a combination of auto rack cars and double stacks. After the train went through, it dawned on us that we should go back to the Taggart tunnels so that we could catch this train going through the tunnels. So we got in the cars and got in our car and headed back up the mountain. And we're a little worried that we wouldn't be able to pass it up because we ran into some construction which slowed us down. Here you can see the Taggart tunnels on the western side. Right there's the best picture I got of the western side, and then we were able to get out of the cars just in time to see the train come through the tunnels. The train was going about 45 miles an hour, and we were kind of worried that we wouldn't be able to catch up to it because we ran to that construction area and we were going 45 miles an hour, but as we got closer to the tunnels, the train slowed down quite a bit. Must have hit some pretty steep grade, and we were able to pass it up and check it out going through the Taggart tunnel. So we're not any mid-train or end-of-train DPUs helping this train, just the units at the head end. So here you have where the Taggart tunnels are going to go over there in the corner. You can see where Devil's Slide is, and then Morgan, Utah. Was able to get some pictures between the Taggart tunnels and Morgan. Mainly wanted to get some backdrop photos. So I'll be using these to use them as backdrops for the Morgan area between Morgan and the Taggart tunnels. So it's going to be Morgan, Utah, and the Taggart tunnels, Devil's Slide. So it's going to be pretty cool, I think. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the overall plan of the layout. We move in 19 days from today, so I'm looking very much forward to that. Stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody.